National Beep Baseball Association. We are back here at Field 12. We are still in pool play on this first day of competition. This is the third and final game of the day, 2 games in the books, and we are now in Pool E for your second game of the day here on this Tuesday. And we have a heavyweight matchup, the game that a lot of people have been waiting to see today. The number 5 seeded Boston Renegades and the number 6 seeded Bayou City Heat. They both come in 2-0 on the day in pool play. They both are coming off of having some really good seasons and a couple of good games today. Boston looked really good on defense. Bayou City's just been hammering the ball today, and so this should be a good game. David Benny alongside Rosina Foster, and Rosina, it's heated up a little bit, but the field conditions are wonderful. These teams have been fed now. They're back off the lunch break and ready to play.
Yeah, we had a wonderful lunch courtesy of Jersey Mike's, so we really appreciate them. They had sandwiches, Italian ham or turkey out here for all the players and the volunteers. So a big shout out to Jersey Mike's, a big supporter of Beep Baseball. So we are going to get started here in just a little bit. We had the coin toss just a minute ago. I did not quite. Bayou City won that coin toss. I would assume they chose home. We have some tape measures going on the field as we're doing a final setup to get this second game of the day, but third game total out here today on 10 different fields. And just to give you a rundown of some of those sponsors for today's game of the day, we have accessibilityofficer.com, Bosma Enterprises, S&J's Catering LLC, the NFB Sports and Recreation Division, and the Blind Cafe, and Mind's Eye Radio. We will be talking more about them later on during the game as we go along. It is heating up. We have a little more cloud cover, but it's hot. Everybody's on their third game of the day.
Yes, the heat is on, no pun intended. And when you look at this game, the first thing you notice really is the pitching matchup, and it's a great one. Fonzie Medrano of the Bayou City Heat and Ron Cochran of the Boston Renegades, expected to do the majority of the pitching for Boston, although Peter Connolly does pitch to a couple of batters. You've really, though, beyond that, you've really got a contrast in styles. The Bayou City Heat can score runs in bunches. They tend to bring a lot of offense, and they want to put runs on the board early and often. The Boston Renegades do it by defense. They've only given up 4 runs total all day in their first 2 games. Fundamentally sound under Coach Rob Wiseman. He's one of the best in the business. And speaking of best in the business, we've got some of our most veteran officials here at this field. Our umpire is Mike Woodard, and our scorekeeper is Katie Mathena.
Not seeing who our base runner is going to be quite yet, but we have just a little bit of time. Some last minute huddles and conversations going on from the Heat, which is on the first base side to our right. And we have the Renegades on our left. They are wearing their dark navy blue with the Boston Renegade and the baseball bat logo on the front of their shirts. Bayou City wearing their very traditional bright orange and black.
And the Boston Renegades are revving it up down the third baseline off to our left. Bayou City Heat have the first baseline off to our right. And Rosina, we got a little bit of breaking news. We've had our first home run of the 2024 World Series was hit in the last round of games. Caleb Wright of the Indy Edge.
Well, he's going to be a proud winner of a very tasty dinner for 2 by Toscano's Grill.
Lucky for him, not only does it count as 2 runs for his team, but he's going to get to take somebody out for dinner.
I wonder who he's going to choose.
I hope he picks me. I heard the food is excellent. And we appreciate all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. Jersey Mike's was very tasty over the lunch hour, and they've been taking care of us the last several years. as they have again this year here at Slyman Brothers Slica Complex here in St. Charles, Missouri. And if you're wondering what Slica stands for, St. Louis Youth Soccer Association. This is a massive soccer complex. They literally host hundreds of events per year here, but this week it is the center of the world for beep baseball as we work toward the championship game on Saturday. The winner of this game will be the 5 seed going into double elimination tomorrow. The loser will be the 6 seed.
So we do have the Heat is getting ready to take the field out there. That you could hear them chanting, and they're starting to make their way onto the field. So let's hear a little bit more about accessibilityofficer.com. They're one of our All-Star Club Game of the Day sponsors. Have you ever struggled to get a job? Forget the job, what about even getting that interview? If you haven't heard of the Getting Hired Playbook, that's how blind people like you today are getting job interviews left and right. And even better, getting job offers from those companies they actually want to work for. The next GHP training starts in August, so go to accessibilityofficer.com and click on Vocational Rehabilitation. Accessibility is with 2 A's, accessibilityofficer.com. That's accessibilityofficer.com.
And as we get closer to the start of this ball game, you look at the players on each side, and you have, first of all, you've got 2 of the prolific power hitters in the game today. One on each side, Tanner Gears, who's the leadoff hitter for the Bayou City Heat, and Christian Thaxton for the Boston Renegades. And then you're going to see a few exciting rookies in this game. Grant Simpson and Noah Finney, both in the lineup for the Bayou City Heat, both rookies and both top prospects in the game today. And then on the other side, Tyler Myrold is going to be a player to watch as a young rookie player for the Renegades.
I do finally have that lineup for the Boston Renegades, DB. It's going to be Christian, Sean, Tyler, Joe, Shane, and Rob.
So Christian Thaxton, Sean Devenich batting second, and then Joe McCormick.
Then Tyler.
Tyler Myrold will get to start batting third.
Then
they
Joe.
Moved McCormick down to the 4th spot in the lineup, and he was really struggling to make contact last game. So let's see if they straighten him out. And then to finish off that lineup, we have Shane Canton
and Rob Thayer.
Or is that Rob Dias? That's Rob Thayer.
No, it's going to be Rob
okay,
Thayer
they
who's in. They have Rob Dias in as their sub for their DH. They don't have them listed which, but DH or DH.
A little bit of a surprise start, although I have a feeling that Rob Weissman is going to play his revolving door maybe with that 6th spot in the lineup.
So we do have Christian is up at the plate. We just had Fonzie up there spray painting the orange across the front of the home plate there a little bit to make it very definitive.
Again, both teams coming in 2-0, so the winner of this game will get to celebrate an undefeated Tuesday as we will head into double elimination starting tomorrow. They will redraw the brackets, and then we will start from scratch again tomorrow morning.
Yes, sir. I'm getting a call from Mike asking if everybody is ready.
Christian Thaxton hit 3 home runs in last year's World Series, tied for an all-time record at one World Series.
A little bit of checking here at home plate. Waiting for the paint to dry. They laid their bats on there and it got orange all over their bats.
Looking at other top games going on in this time slot right now, the Indy Thunder top-seeded playing the Tyler Tigers. They're both 2-0. Gateway Archers and Austin Blackhawks, they're both 2-0. Indy Edge and Chicago Comets, Philly Fire, and New Jersey Titans. All of those teams are 2-0 heading into this third game.
And so far, I have not heard of any major upsets like we had last year early on.
I'll tell you what, the Boston Renegades had a tough one in their first game. I don't think a lot of people expected a 3-2 final against the Minnesota Millers. A lot of good defense being played in that game, but no, things have gone pretty well chalk so far.
We have Mike, the umpire, up there kind of rubbing out some of the spray paint up there, trying to get that dried out. It's very wet.
So Boston will be up to bat. Bayou City is the home team. They are out in the field.
That Ron is wearing his 44, so that is an extra player they have out there.
Was that field paint that was used? Is that field paint? Is that red paint field paint?
We've got a nice little crowd gathering here. That's Jerry Wendell, our league president, off to our left, finishing out his final term as NBBA president. He's done a great job for us over the last 2 years.
We're going to test the bases. Just a second. We're going to test them.
And
We got first and third.
quick base check, make sure all the equipment's working properly before we call game on.
Rob's going to lay a sample bat up there to see if it's going to catch anything there.
You can tell this is where it gets serious here.
Down to every last detail.
First, please.
Boston and Bayou City have not faced each other this year. Last time they played was in the placement game last year, the 5th, 6th place game, which was won by Boston. Here we go, Rosina. Game on.
Getting ready for that first pitch of the game. High pop up, see if it's going to stay fair, and that's going to be foul. That was up there about a good 130 feet up in the air and then came down about 5 feet outside of being fair at the third base.
Right away, first pitch, good contact, top of the bat. He was just a little bit early. But that's the idea on these fields, as we saw earlier this morning. Get the ball in the air. Ground balls are getting picked up.
Hey, Zach, come on now, Zach. You got it?
Christian coming back up to home plate. Trying to see who is out in far left. Can't see them past Richie. Kind of lined up right in the aisle there. It's Richie, Grant, and I'm not sure who else is all the way out there.
Might be Daryl Miner way out there.
No, Daryl is over on the right. I can see everybody else except for who is behind Richie. It is Lupe. Okay. Oh, and ball's going to be a little underneath that swing.
So that's a tough left side. Grant Simpson has looked really good on defense. And by the way, that's Simpson, not to be confused with the Simpson family, no relation, SIB. Grant's a good-looking player in the middle there of that defense behind Flores in the middle row.
Ready for that pitch. And again, dropping just underneath that swing. Christian with his tongue hanging out a little bit as he's, missed that one. Tanner out in the short right field, rocking back and forth from toe to toe as he prepares for the ball. And catching off the top of the bat and rolling over back towards our cameraman.
Now timing's perfect because that ball went basically straight back. So they're right on schedule.
And just going to be over the bat as Christian is out. First out for the Renegades.
And that's unfortunate because his first swing was his best, but it went foul, and he strikes out. 1 out.
This brings Sean Devonish up to bat.
Contact's going to be important in this game because you know Fonzie doesn't strike out many. Now Devonish.
Base check on first and third.
Devonish has been around since 2016. He was part of that great rookie class of 2016 all over the league. It just seemed like that was probably one of the best rookie classes ever.
Man, it's going to be over the top of the bat again.
Boston's first World Series was 2001. Bayou City's been around in some form or other since the 80s. They were the Houston Bombers at first.
I'm just on the outside, trying to get the end of that bat.
Only one World Championship between these two teams, and that was the Bayou City Heat back in 2002. They've got second place finishes, though, each one of them, both losing to the Indy Thunder dynasty.
Just catching the top of that bat as it rolls over. And just underneath the bat. That's going to be the second out.
This is not what Boston needed. Like we said, man, Bayou City can put up runs in bunches. And so it really was important for Boston to get off to a good start. When Boston has struggled this year, it has been starting slow. And then they turned it up. They did it twice against Philly Fire, made comebacks late in both those games and fell short. I think they need a run here now out of the young man Tyler Milroll, who's having a Rookie of the Year type season.
Tyler is up at the plate, getting a good stance in as Rob is sitting on his stool behind him. And it's going to be a little grounder out into far right. And as he's running to first, it went past Tanner, and he clotheslined it with his arm easily. It's going to be the first run of the game for Tyler.
Well, he did two things right there. Number one, he kept it away from Richie Flores and went opposite field. Number two, he ran a great base and very fast. And there was just no way once it got past Tanner. And so they are on the board, and that's Tyler Milroll. You know, he scored the first 9 times up at bat of his career before finally being put out. I don't know that I can think of another player that I can remember ever who scored the first 9 runs of their career. In fact, I think it took me 15 at-bats before I scored my first run. So now Joe McCormick, perennial all-star, dropped from the leadoff spot down to the 4th spot in the batting order. He struck out twice last game, which is big news because he doesn't usually strike out hardly ever at all. So let's see if they can get him going. 1 on the board for Boston.
And it went just over the top of the bat.
And it's only a matter of time before they ask whatever's behind us to move. I'm not sure exactly.
Sounds like an overheating vehicle that's idling behind us and running hot. And a pop-up fly ball out into mid-left as he runs to third. Grant's got
Simpson!
it!
There he is, the rookie.
Grabbed that, jumped on his side behind Richie Flores, ball straight up in the air like the Statue of Liberty.
Boy, if they can get that kind of defense out of him consistently, they're going to be tough to beat over there on that left side. You got 2 veterans up front and behind him, so only 1 run in the inning. 1-0 Boston going to the bottom of the 1st.
Heat's going to make their way back in to try to conquer that 1 run. And speaking of the Heat, one of those Heat players, Tanner Gears, with accessibilityofficer.com. If you haven't heard of the Getting Hired Playbook, that's how blind people like you today are getting job interviews. Have you ever struggled to get a job? How about even just getting that interview? Well, if you're working with the Get Hired Playbook, you're going to be getting job offers from companies that you actually want to work for. The next GHP training starts in August, so go to accessibilityofficer.com and click on vocational rehabilitation. Accessibility is with 2 A's. accessabilityofficer.com. That's accessabilityofficer.com.
We do have a substitution. We've got Guy Zuccarello in for Rob Thayer in the 6th spot. So just what I thought was going to happen. They are using that revolving door in the 6th spot. But for Bayou City, you mentioned his name, Tanner Gears, 2022 Hall of Fame inductee, and he will lead it off for Bayou City. And the heat is on with Fonzie Medrano.
Thank you to Fonzie for actually all those Fonzie balls that are being played this year at the World Series. Takes over 250 beat baseballs. So thank you to Cardinals Care and St. Louis Cardinals, Hannigan Realty, and Major League Baseball for supplying funding to help with those 250 beep balls.
And thank you to the St. Louis Lighthouse for storing them for us and saving the NBBA considerable cost. Eric Warnhoff and the folks over at the St. Louis Lighthouse, we really appreciate you.
Storing a lot of equipment.
And these Fonzie balls have been holding up so far remarkably well.
High fly pop-up, deep center by Tanner as he runs to first. They're heading for him, and he's already tackled that base. That's going to tie it up. The first one for the Heat by Tanner Gears.
Ooh, that didn't take long, did it? And they're fired up over there. Tanner's going to fire him up high, hard, and up the middle. His name is Fonzie, and he brings the heat. Tied at 1, just like that, 1 pitch.
That's going to bring up Grant, who had that out just recently out in the outfield. He's going to be up at the plate. Newcomer to the Heat. Fonzie out there with his traditional hopping up and down from foot to foot. Can't seem to sit still out there.
You know, when your leadoff hitter on the first pitch hits a ball like that, it can fire up the whole team. And you can see, let's see what they do here.
That was a crushing hit.
Now Grant Simpson, you make a great play, you get to hit.
That's going to go just under. Oh, line drive almost took out Fonzie as it goes mid-center. Is Sean, I believe that was Sean.
Devenish! Shutting down the...
Yep, Sean Devenish out there with that out.
Yes, I
That
did.
was a hard hit by Grant. It was on the ground, right to him.
Important to have somebody that can close down the middle of that defense because these first 2 hitters have been right on schedule.
Hey, you go, Grant.
Good play by Devenish. 1 out, 1 in for Bayou City. You already see the competitive level of this game is a little bit faster than what we saw this morning.
So we have Daryl Miner up for the Heat as we get a check from the outfield to make sure everyone is ready.
Daryl Miner. He's been around since the early 90s and at one time was the fastest player in the sport of beat baseball. He can still hit. He has hit home runs at the World Series before.
So let's say defense on, looks like out on the left for Boston. We have Rob Diaz, Shane, and we've got a Sean out there on far left. I'm ready for that pitch. No, that is not Sean. Sean's in center. Oh, that's going to be a strike because it goes right underneath the bat.
If I were them, I would have somebody playing about, if I was Boston defense, I'd have somebody playing about 10 feet in front of that home run line.
Hard swing.
These next two, Miner and Finney, they can just crush the ball when they get a good one.
Oh, almost took out Fonzie again. Heading grounder on the left. Past Rob. They're running over to grab it. They're He is. Oh, he missed the base. He's coming back.
Well,
Not sure if he caught. They think he caught it the first time around. It might have just been
I
fingertips.
thought I heard Mike call safe. Bayou City certainly thought he hit it.
They're checking with the third base
Yeah.
judge down there. He might have caught it with his fingertips. Nope, out. He is out.
Whoa! First tough call that Mike has to make, and he'll take as long as he needs to make sure he gets it right. He'll talk to whatever help he can, and he generally gets it right. And so that's an out. 2 outs, and that's the one equalizer. You gotta make good base runs.
Thank you.
Ooh, you can't give away outs. You only get 18 of them to work with. Now the other rookie, Noah Finney. He had a walk-off earlier this year. That was in that crazy Oklahoma tournament that we had. Walked off the Austin Blackhawks after the Blackhawks scored 7 runs in the 6th inning to come back and tie that game. He promptly walked it off in the bottom of the 6th.
Getting a base check, and he did tear up his cleats in the game right before this, ripped the bottom right off of him. Oh, just on the bottom and on the outside edge of that bat.
You can hear the whoosh from that swing back here. He's got a lot of power.
Earlier the game right before this, it was very reminiscent hitting of a Justin Holland style.
That's a
Slam.
compliment. That's some pretty high praise.
I'm going to hold for that. He was running, I believe it was for first base, and completely tore off the front half of the bottom of his cleats.
Well, you know what? I don't feel bad for him because some players have to wait their whole career to get a game-winning hit, and he did it in his first tournament earlier this year. But I'll tell you what, if he swings like Justin Howland, of course, Justin Howland is the all-time career home run leader and counting in baseball. Pretty good company. He's only 18.
Slamming line drive out into center left. It's out past him. He's running for first. He is hauling, and he's took it out.
That's
That
how you run to a base, Rosina.
is, so that is now 2-1 for the Heat. Noah Finney, spectacular hitting.
Gears and Finney have the runs on the board. There haven't been any balls this inning that really haven't been hit hard by Bayou City.
This is going to bring Lupe Perez up to the plate, all in orange.
Lupe has scored more runs in his career at the World Series than any other player in beep baseball history since 1991, or I think actually maybe 1992 was his rookie year. Multi-time world champion with both the Austin Blackhawks and the West Coast Dogs. Multi-time all-star on the offensive side, and really learned to play defense under the great Don Robinson, the head coach of the West Coast Dogs, who was a real defensive guru. Lupe's one of the best ever.
Boston has adjusted and moved most of their entire defense over on the left side by a heavy amount.
Lupe plays sparingly now because, of course, I mean, he's been in so many battles, if you will, in beep baseball over the years. He doesn't play every day, but when they need him, they bring him out, and he's a weapon, and he's in the 5th spot in the order here today. 2 outs and 2 in for Bayou City.
Just over the top of the bat. Ozzy wiping off the extra moisture from the ball. Lupe bringing that bat up over the shoulder. It's going to be a pop up into mid-right as he's running for third. Oh, they missed the ball, and he is safe. That's another one up for the Heat.
And that's tough because he popped it up and he went opposite field with it. And those are unpredictable. When you have a right-handed hitter that pops the ball up to the right side, a lot of times it'll hit and either kick toward the line or have backspin.
Especially as they had already all adjusted over to the left.
As a former front-line defender, I can tell you there was nothing that was harder to predict than an opposite field pop-up short, because it could do anything when it hit the ground. All right, 3 in now. Now, if you don't get the 6th place hitter Gonzalez here, you're back to Tanner, and they don't want that this inning. This is a big moment early for the Boston Renegades. Already down 2.
Alex up at home plate, and he's just got his base check. I can still hear that ball even after the beating it has
He
taken.
can go opposite field to that right field side, too. They need to watch over there.
Oh, he's swinging a little early there. A little excitement as he hops back away from home plate.
Just as I said he can do that, he was early, looking maybe to pull the ball.
And it's going to slide right underneath the bat, dead center.
Alex, way to wait, baby.
Oh, a little low. He's trying to scoop it up and get some air on there, and that's going to be another strike.
Fonzie talking to him, working with him. It's a symbiotic relationship between pitcher, batter, and catcher, really three-way.
And that's going to be the first strikeout there for the Heat, and that will bring it in the Boston Renegades.
So the Heat get 3 in the inning, but the Renegades hold them right there, 3-1. Bayou City headed to the second. Still a lot of beat ball left to go, but Boston needs to get the bats cooking. It's going to take some runs to win this game.
So another one of our sponsors today is Bosma Enterprises, Navigating Blindness. Bosma Enterprises partners with socially responsible companies that have a focus on supplier diversity. We help them expand their sourcing options with high-quality goods and services. These partnerships create jobs for people with vision loss who would otherwise face a 70% unemployment rate. Bosma Center for Visionary Solutions, located in Indianapolis, serves hundreds of clients each year all over the state of Indiana. Their experienced staff, more than half of whom are blind, offer personalized programs ranging from counseling to job placement to training for daily living skills. These initiatives help adults gain the life skills that they need to remain independent and the job skills they need to stay self-sufficient. For more information, please visit at bosma.org.
And Bosma has been a generous supporter of beep baseball for many years, all the way back to the days when I played in Indianapolis. And that's been a little while. So we really appreciate them. That's a long-term partnership with the sport of beep baseball, whether it's the Indy teams, the World Series, their tournament in Indianapolis the first weekend of June. Bosma's just been really, really good to us.
So we do have Shane up at bat, and of course with Shane comes a pitcher change. So we have Peter pitching for Shane as he's getting first and third base check. He's got on that face mask to protect himself. Remember, the pitcher is 20 feet away from those. And took a pass on that first pitch.
Now, Shane's consistent, and what he's able to do is he can hit to all fields.
And it's going to be a little bouncing grounder short. I'm not sure if it's going to make it fair. No, it is not quite, as Tanner was trying to get up there. That would have been a close call if he was going to get there first. Shane's going to head back to home plate, wearing a bucket hat there to protect his face out of the sun after being out here all day, and more to come throughout the week.
It was a good job charging. You still want to charge the 40-foot line. You don't ever want to assume a ball is foul, especially on these fields, because if you're wrong, it's going to stop at that 40-foot line. You won't have a chance.
The grass is very thick and slow.
Yep. But nice and even, ground soft. It's almost like playing on a nice carpet.
It is beautiful. I keep taking my shoes off to wiggle my toes in the grass.
Yeah.
And holding now for plane as that goes overhead. Remember, it is very important to have silence so our players can hear both the ball for the defense and the bases for the offense.
Now, I did not hear much plane traffic in the last game when I was only 2 fields over.
I did not either on that far field way over there. It's just our location.
Again, it's 3-1. Bayou City just getting going. We're in the top of the second.
He's Gets a little bit close on the inside. Drops straight down at his feet. Rob getting up off his little stool there to get the ball.
That stool has become a trademark of Rob Weisman over the years. He is the coach. He's also the catcher.
And it's going to be a pop-up into mid-right, just bouncing over Daryl Miners as Shane runs for third. They're scrambling to get it, Noah, but no, he's going to be safe.
Well-placed ball. We call that a tweener.
That right one dropped him right behind. Daryl scrambled back, and it bounced right up over him.
So that cuts the lead in half. It's 3-2 now, Bayou City. And that's good. That's important for the Renegades to get contributions from the bottom of the lineup.
Got you. Thank you.
What do we have?
We have a pinch hitter, so we have 18.
Dias.
Yes.
All right, so there's
Rob
Rob
is
Dias. Zuccarella's out.
Oh,
So Dias in, Zuccarello out? All right.
So this is Rob.
Got it. Thank you, Rob.
got it. So they took a
They didn't have a DHDF, I don't think.
And high just over the bat. This is that revolving six spot.
Yeah, Zuccarello came in for Thayer. Oh, well, I'm glad I'm not the official scorekeeper for this game.
High pop up into mid center. Daryl's trying to get himself behind it as it comes down. He scooped it up
Hey, there
and
you
he's got it out.
What a play by Daryl Miner. Known as a hitter, but he can play some defense, and he was on that right away.
Oh, it's David Sanchez.
David Sanchez is the DF.
No, just a second. They said it just
We're still trying to
They
get
said it.
straight on whatever it was Rob just did. But either way,
That is an out.
that's an out, so we've got one out, one in the top of the second.
Mike, hold on a second.
That we're sure about.
Hold on.
Wiseman has played with the sixth spot in his lineup so much already that everybody back here is confused, including the folks in the booth.
On that, you might go over some of the differences in the rules of beep ball.
So, I mean, we'll start with this. There's 6 per side, and if you substitute, there is a re-entry rule, but you have to be out 6 outs. And if you substitute the DH for the DF, it has to come in the same spot in the lineup. But what I think happened here is the way I saw it, Rob Thayer was in the original starting lineup. He never hit, so they put in Zuccarello, and he took his spot. Now they just put Dias. So I don't think there's an issue, but I've been wrong before. Yes, this is 6 on 6. 6 batters, 6 fielders. You can use a DH and a DF. The pitcher, of course, is on the hitting team. Think coach pitch. Pitch is underhand from 20 feet away.
Not me.
There are 6 innings in a game, of course, 3 outs. You do get 4 strikes, and you're allowed to take 1 passed ball. Ball has to cross the 40-foot arc to be in fair play. That's a safety precaution. You don't want fielders charging up the pitcher because everybody in the field must wear a blindfold.
This is Christian back up at the plate. A little tight on the inside. It's going to bear. I'm not sure if that's going to be fair. It's going to be short of it. He's 3/4 of the way to third base. Richie was making his way up short left.
What happened is the wrong number got reported to me. The name was so it didn't match the name. So the jersey was 48. He said 18, but he told me.
So it was not Rob.
So it was not Dias. It was, in fact, Sanchez?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So we reported it as Dias, but that was Sanchez.
That was told to me.
Gotcha.
But either way, it is out.
Either way.
And we have Christian up at the plate.
So that tells me that somebody else is going to come in to play defense for Sanchez this next inning. That's just a guess, so be ready. They're going to sub again. They're going to be doing that all game. Offense
We do
for
have our
defense.
pitcher. We're back up with Ron pitching. But forgot to mention that for our last batter.
Yeah, Sean Connolly will pitch to Shane Canton and Sanchez. I don't think he pitches to anybody else in the lineup that I see.
Peter pitched to Shane.
That's what I
actually.
meant. Yeah, Peter pitched to those two. Ron pitches to the
And
rest.
just over the inside of the bat.
Generally. But you'll see Cochran in now until you get back to that spot in the order. And you're allowed to do that. You can use as many pitchers as you want. If you've got 6 of them, everybody's got their own custom pitcher, you can do it. I've never seen it done, but
It's hard enough getting volunteers as it is.
most pitchers I think I've seen on one team was 3 at one time.
Oh, almost took off Ron's head as it goes his line drive down center deep. He's running for third. It is way out there. They're like not even trying for that. So that's going to put another run up for the Renegades, tying that back up to a 3-3 game at the top of the second.
They look like they have straightened out the contact issues that were ailing them a little bit in the first inning. And 2 on the board now. Yeah, we're going to have, I said first to 10 in that last game. I think it may be first to 15 in this game. Going to have a few more runs here.
Should be Sean up at bat for the
Devonish.
Renegades.
Yep.
Waiting for that plane. Getting a base check. Getting a little bit more cloud cover over again and a slight breeze. And it's going to be a bouncing grounder into short left. Richie's making a play for it as Sean runs to and first, but he is out.
Oh, gave it to him. Tie goes to the fielder, so, I mean, I don't know that was a tie, but it was
no,
darn close.
I think he had it ahead of him.
He
was
just got him.
scrambling there, just seconds, mid-seconds.
You can't put him on the ground, and Richie Flores is having a great year on defense this year. The best I've probably ever seen him.
Yeah, he's been playing some incredible defense the last year and a half, I'd say. This is going to bring Tyler up to the plate for the Renegades.
Tyler scored the Renegades' first run. Renegades have runs from, let's see here, Tyler and Shane Canton and Christian Thaxton.
And this is a tie game, 3-3. Top of the second. Let me get a base check. As you hear Mike call it, let's play. Tyler gripping that bat up over the shoulder. A little bit low on the inside.
Tyler Myrol's a prospect. Now, he played in some local tournaments in 2023, but not at the World Series. So, for NBBA purposes, he is a rookie. And I'll tell you what, 3 of the top 4 rookies in the country are playing in this game. 2 for Bayou City and him.
Catching on the inside, it's going to be a pop fly over into left as he runs to third. Oh, I think we're going to have to confer on this. I'm not sure. The third baseman has said he is safe. Mike is saying, hold on. He wants to see.
Both sides think that they got the
That was
benefit
very
of it.
close. I would not want to call that one.
He was extremely quick again to that base.
That would have been Lupe if he got him. Oh, they're going to call it out. The Heat is making their way back in. That would have been the put out by Lupe Perez. Coming in for their chance with that tie game. As we start the bottom of the second, still tied 3-3. And Bosma Enterprises, navigating blindness. They partner to create jobs for people with vision loss who would otherwise face a 70% unemployment rate. They help expand
I figured
sourcing
who's going in
options.
for defense?
They partner with socially responsible companies, having a focus on supplier diversity. Their Visionary Solutions is located in Indianapolis. They serve hundreds of clients each year all over the state of Indiana. Their staff, very experienced, more than half are blind, offering personalized programs ranging from counseling, job placement, and training for daily living skills. So for more information on these initiatives that help adults gain life skills and job skills, contact BOSMA at bosma.org. BOSMA Enterprises, Navigating Blindness.
And while we were changing up sides, as predicted, Rob Weisman informs us that, yes, they are bringing in another offense for defense. This time defense, Elena Reagan will come in to replace Sanchez. David Sanchez out, Reagan in as that flip-flopping sixth spot in the Renegades order continues.
Boston has now made their place. Just a few final setups out in the field, bringing starting lineup Tanner Gears for the Heat.
Back to the top of the lineup, and he took one swing earlier and hit a bomb and scored.
Thumper.
Tie game, bottom of the second. Here we go.
Oh, another pop-up into deep center again as he runs to third. They're heading for it. They've stopped it, and they've got it. It came down, dropping right in front of Sean Devenish, I believe. Oh, they're saying that was
Double
one
play.
bounce. Double
Play. That's a new rule,
It was
just
not.
changed. No?
2 bounces.
2 bounces.
Two
All right,
bounces.
they won't
Okay,
give it
that
to
was
him.
close.
Whoa. I'm not listening to Rob anymore. Rob's making the calls for the umpire over here, but that was an exciting play anyway. Was that 53 Devenish?
Sean Devenish. But
My
we got
goodness.
Grant back up for the Heat.
So, a one-hop catch in this sport is a double play. It counts for 2 outs. Well, unless there's already 2 outs, and then it simply ends the inning, which I don't understand, but that's how it works. We thought for a minute there was one. We saw a couple at the World Series last year. But that was a great play nevertheless.
It's going to be bouncing back over by the cameraman. Getting some solid contact in this game.
Boy, we've seen some good defense and some good hitting, just what you'd expect.
It's going to be a line drive slammer right off of Elena as he runs over to third. She's grabbing. Oh my gosh, they've got him out. That's another.
Reagan, 71, one of the top female players in the country. She doesn't even compete in the Wool game. Makes the play there. She just came in for defense. You can give Rob Weisman some credit while he's not around for the defensive substitution there, and Elena Reagan. Back-to-back great plays in the back of the Renegades defense, mid and back levels there.
She was short.
Short on that
right,
one.
And man, did she just gobble that up.
My goodness.
This is going to bring up Daryl Miner to the plate for the Heat, swinging the bat back and forth across home plate. Mike getting a check from out in the outfield there to make sure the spotters have everybody in position. Fonzie hopping up and down from foot to foot there. Daryl swinging that bat. Back and forth there and back up over behind him. It's going to be a grounder left short as Rob runs for that. He's running for third. Did he? No, he's going to be safe. Mike has called him safe. He didn't quite have that all the way up in the air.
Yeah, that's the way this sport works sometimes. They've gotten the tough plays in this inning. That was a play that probably should have been made. Miner scores the first run of the inning for Bayou City, but that gives them the lead back here in the bottom of the second. It's 4-3.
And Noah up at bat as they sing-song chant for him. Noah. Daryl coming back around behind the batter, headed to his bench. And we're going to hold for this airplane going over the top of us, headed either to or from St. Louis Lambert Airport. Getting another breeze that's coming in. It's feeling spectacular right now. Sure beats the heat from the last 2 years that we've had in Norman, Oklahoma, and Beaumont. And hopefully no horrid rainstorms like Beaumont as well.
Well, and I'll tell you what, even in Wichita and Tulsa, Oklahoma, we've had heat the last 4 or 5 series we've been at. This has been the coolest it's been
pleasant.
probably since Eau Claire, Wisconsin in 2018.
But it is the first day. I don't want to jinx us.
You're right.
High pop up fly deep into center. Oh, bounced off his hands. He's running to first. Oh, what are we going to call this? Oh, I believe they're calling him out. Yes, they are.
They're calling him out back there again. Who was that?
I believe
53 Devonish, his
Sean
second
Devonish
one of the
again.
inning back there.
He's
Devonish.
holding the ball up as if, yes, I have this, as he walks it back in to.
They're going to check to confer, but and that was in the air forever, and you heard it come down, and he was on it as quick as he could be. Now, the runner could have been a little faster to the base.
Yep,
That
they're
call
maintaining
stands.
that. That is out. That is going to end that inning.
Boy, these teams are putting on a show, Rosina. 4-3, Bayou City heading to the third, Boston coming up.
Boy, that was some tough knocks for Heat in that one with those outs. Excellent defense from the Boston. And hey, Philly, are you hungry? S&J's Catering LLC is a premier catering business founded in 2017 and renowned for its exceptional culinary artistry and impeccable service to the Philadelphia area. Specializing in a diverse range of cuisines, S&J's Catering LLC brings a gourmet dining experience to any event. Whether it's an intimate gathering or a corporate function, our team of talented chefs uses the freshest ingredients to create visually stunning and delicious dishes that cater to a variety of tastes and dietary needs. Founded and led by a blind entrepreneur whose vision transcends sight, S&J's Catering LLC exemplifies resilience, creativity, and dedication. With a commitment to excellence, personalized service, and attention to detail, we ensure every event is memorable and exceeds our clients' expectations. From the initial consultation to the final bite, take pride in making every special occasion with our dedicated and professional approach to catering. Hey Philly, are you hungry? Call 215-284-7485.
And we appreciate all of our sponsors. We couldn't do it without you. As we head to the top of the third, Joe McCormick will be leading it off for the Renegades, trailing by 1.
Getting that base check on first and third. Again, this is Joe McCormick up at bat. Waiting for that pitch. It's going to be a line drive out into far right, and he's running to third. They're scrambling for it. I don't know. It's not going to make it. That's a run for the Renegades.
Important to get Joe McCormick going. That's his first run of this game. It's his first run of the last couple of games, I do believe, and so
Ties it up.
Ties it up just like that. Punch, counter punch here.
4-4 at the top of the third. Renegades at bat.
And now the bottom of their lineup, and they got a run out of Canton last time up. And then we'll find out. We'll find out who.
So we do have Shane up at bat, which means we do have pitcher change. We have Peter pitching now. Get head first. I'm going to wait for this airplane and then redo our base check. Let's see. It looks like I think we're going to have Joe Yee will be our revolving door. He is in the batter's box.
Right, so Canton up, and on deck will be Yee then.
Unless they change things while he's in the batter's box. Took a pass on that, slapping of the thigh as it comes by. It's going to be a slamming line drive, dropping midway. And he heads to third. It's deep and right, or left, I'm sorry. And, there, it's going to be another run for Boston. Taking the lead.
So, good start to the third for the Renegades. 2 up and 2 in. They're fired up over there as Joe Yee now will get his first at-bat in that 6-spot revolving door as it continues. Both teams playing at a very high level right now on both sides of the ball.
And he does still maintain Peter for his pitching.
And that may have been why Joe Yee was selected here to go back in this spot, is to keep Connolly in there because he just pitched to Canton, so he can get back-to-back hitters.
Got a plane going by overhead here.
Now it's the Bayou City Heat who could use it out, because after Yee, now you've got the dangerous top of Boston's order coming up.
Slamming, dropping over into left, right to Richie Flores, though, as he runs to first, and Richie getting that out that you said they needed.
Little room service for Richie, and he'll take advantage of that. That was an easy one, and 1 out. That'll stop the line at 2 in a row in for Boston, and now top of the order. Now you got to deal with Thaxton.
We do change back our pitchers back out to Rob as Christian comes back up to the plate. Yee making his way back over to his bench. With his Easton bat. Bringing that bat back up over the shoulder, looking straight onto Rob. Pop up. Looks like it's going to be short left as he runs to third. Richie scrambling to get that ball and get a hold of it. He is going to be safe. Not getting it in time. That's another run for Boston.
That was another close play, but that time Richie didn't quite have it up, and there's just too much speed there for Thaxton. Third run of the inning. This is Boston's best inning so far of the game.
3 runs this inning alone with a 6-4 game for Boston.
And now Devonish, who's been the hottest defensive player in this game, he's made 3 really good plays already.
Checking home plate there. Rob getting back for his stool. Oh, just over the top of the bat. There was quite a bit of whistling on that bat as it went past.
We haven't seen very many clean swings and misses here lately.
Just that first inning.
Yeah, since that first.
Bouncing grounder into center. Tanner coming up on it as he runs to first. Tanner's got to get a hold of it, though.
Ooh,
he
just
is
had
out.
It. Just had it. Mike called him out, and that's the sound you hate to hear if you're a batter on these fields. That double thunk. Ball hitting the bat, ball hitting the ground. You know, right away, that's something that you're probably not going to score on. That is the second out of the inning now.
Bringing it.
Be up to Myrold. Yep. Myrold to the plate.
This is a tight game. Excellent offense and defense on both of them. A lot of close calls. Tyler pointing to third as that check goes off. A line drive out into mid-left as he runs to third. Is past Grant. Lupe's got
Lupe! Oh. No!
Let's see
safe!
He is safe. That is going to bring the Boston Renegades up 7-4 over the Heat. This is going to be a very big deciding game for either one of these teams, changing what they're going to play against the rest of the week.
Well, and it means the difference being in one side of the bracket to the other. I mean, the 5 and the 6 seed, there may not seem like much difference, but if you want to avoid the Indy Thunder as long as possible, of course, who are the top seed, you'd rather have that, I guess you'd rather have the 6, but then you got to deal with Gateway. So it'll determine which side of the bracket they end up on. Gateway or the Edge. I mean, they're both tough sides of the bracket, as it looks.
And rolling up over the top of the bat,
Give it a wacky, Mackie.
Joe McCormick. And going just underneath dead center on the bat.
Come on, Joe Mac.
McCormick scored his last time.
Catching a line drive over to right underneath the spotter's legs, heading into the back to Noah. He's got it.
Got him.
Oh, let's see if they're going to maintain that. First baseman was calling it. Yep, they are calling it. That is an out.
Nice play by the rookie, and that's the 3rd out of the inning, but a good inning for Boston. They put up 4.
They did spectacular there with those 4, having that 3-run lead, 7-4, as we head to the bottom of the 3rd. This is our 3rd game that's been played today, only our 2nd, DB. But these players have been out in this heat playing all day. They did just have lunch, but this heat, and they're going to have to repeat this for several days. And if you're hungry, are you in Philly? S&J's Catering, LLC. Hey, Philly, are you hungry? It's founded and led by a blind entrepreneur whose vision transcends sight. S&J's Catering, LLC exemplifies resilience, creativity, and dedication. They have a commitment to excellence, personalized service, and attention to detail to ensure every event is memorable and exceeds the client's expectations. S&J's Catering is a premier catering business founded in 2017 and renowned for its exceptional culinary artistry and impeccable service to the Philadelphia area. So, hey Philly, are you hungry? Call 215-284-7485.
And as the Heat come up to bat now, let's see how they can respond to that 4-run inning from the Renegades. They will have, if my order is correct, Lupe Perez leading off.
Lupe Perez is up at the home plate currently.
So just like we wanted to see how the Renegade bottom of their lineup would do, and they did very well, now let's see what the 5 and 6 hitters can do in the Bayou City lineup. And then, of course, the big bat of Tanner Gears waiting to hit 3rd in the inning. 3-run lead.
So they're behind by 3. They're going to have to buckle down and get some of these balls in the air. And no errors, no missed bases is going to be critical.
Because the Boston defense right now is tight.
And they need to keep it away from Sean, obviously, out there in deep center. Mid to deep. Just over the top of the bat.
And there is another defense for offense substitution now. Guy Zuccarello is in there for Joe Yee. That's that 6th spot in Boston's order. They've had about 5 different players there already, keeping our scorekeeper busy.
Just underneath the bat. Fonzie telling them to keep it right there. Lupe bringing that bat up. On the outside, it's going to be a pop up into a short right and right into their hands. Now let's see who that is.
Guy Zuccarello, is that 9?
9.
Number
Yep,
9.
Number 9.
And that's another one now, Rob. Just put him in the game for defense, and he makes a play. Elena Reagan did that last inning. So right now, Weissman's substitution scheme is working.
Paying off in spades.
That's why he's one of the best in the business. He gets every ounce out of his roster that he possibly can and out of his talent.
He's going to have Alex up to the plate. Got the bat resting easily on his shoulder as he waits for that base check. Gripping of the bat. And ready for Fonzie's pitch. And swinging just a hair early.
They may be trying to keep it away from the middle, like you said, because he jumped early like he wanted to try to hit it down the line.
Just underneath the bat. The heat is on for the Heat right now.
Yeah, they're
They have
under
a
a little bit
time
of
as
pressure.
he's retightening up his.
They do have the
removing
last.
glove.
They do have the last at bats, and they're only in the bottom of the third. So.
But it's not really. You don't want to stay too far down. Retying of the shoe. And the laces on his black cleats tightened up. Breeze has started to die down. It's not quite as strong as it was. Here in St. Louis at the Slice-A Soccer Complex, we just want to say a shout out thank you to Bill Jones and Sue Slocum and Richard Mark, longtime Mind's Eye donors, and Ameren, Illinois Power Company for the surrounding area.
And we will have 2 games tomorrow, one at 11 and one at 2. We don't know which games they will be yet. It depends on how the brackets are drawn. Probably looking good for the 8-9 matchup or the 7-10 matchup at 11 tomorrow, but we don't know who those teams are because they're all playing right now. There's 5 games right now involving 2-0 teams playing one another, and 5 games involving teams who haven't won a game yet today.
Pop up high up in the air and deep into
Just
left
landed.
as he runs to third. There's oh my goodness! Mike's calling him out.
What a play!
McCormick, level 3.
And now McCormick with a play. Devonish and McCormick on defense, plus Zuccarello over there has contributed. This is Boston shutdown defense right now. They're getting the ball in the air. These aren't cheap either. Those guys, they're just making plays in the back.
Excellent defense. They're handling this and not letting the Heat get even an inch of ground offensively.
These are fields that probably Boston is more used to playing on these type of fields than Bayou City. I dare say there's not much grass like this in Texas. Our scorekeeper agrees. Hails from the Fort Worth area.
Alex coming back to the bench as we have Tanner Gears up, starting the round off for the Heat. See if he can get another like his first one. Oh, just catching the edge. He had it down low. That would have been up in the air if he had gotten a square hit on that. It's going to be a grounder, short left. Not sure if that'll be fair. It is. He's running to first, and Rob trying to get it. He's safe. So getting that instead of a paw. Oh, we're going to have a contention here. I think Rob is disagreeing.
Rob was
with
out
this.
there quickly, and I was
Talking
just
to
going to
Mike.
say, here we go again, just like last inning. The hard hit balls are getting picked. The short ones are not so much.
Yep, and our third baseman confers safe. So Mike's holding that. So that's going to help the Heat there now. They're
Boy,
only
that
at
was one they
2.
needed. They needed that one, though. You don't want to give up a shorty after your second and third line are making big plays. Tanner's fast, though. So 7-5.
He was down there to first in the blink of an eye. It's going to bring Grant up to the plate, rookie Grant. It's going to be a grounder short left. Rob coming to make that up as he runs to first. He's getting a hold of it. And
That time he got
that is
him.
out. He's not going to let that get by him again.
Nope, Lightning won't strike twice in the same place. He's solid, makes the play, and that's a great defensive inning for the Boston Renegades. They are fired up, and they should be. They only give up 1 run on 4 balls put in play, 3 putouts from 3 different defenders, and halfway through the game, Rosina, we got a good one. 7-5 Renegades.
And those were no slouch hits either that they were picking up. They were grabbing it and on target. They are out there and true athletes. And speaking of athletics, what about the NFB Sports and Recreation? You can live the life you want. We are a transformative membership and advocacy organization of blind people in the United States. The National Federation of the Blind Sports and Recreation Division knows that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day we raise the expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want. Blindness is not what holds you back. For more information about the NFB Sports and Recreation, email activenfb@gmail.com. That's activenfb@gmail.com, or visit nfb.org.
And we owe the NFB a big thank you for partnering with us and allowing us in the new museum they're building, the new blindness museum, if you will. They will have a beat baseball exhibit once we get it built.
This is going to have Shane up at the plate and a pitcher change with Peter here, as we're checking first base not going off.
Well, now Boston, they won that inning 4-1, so now they have an opportunity here to try to get some separation. Bayou City has the last at-bats, and we know how potent their offense has been today. You never want to stop adding on.
It'll never be an easy head for the Renegades.
This looks more like a semifinal game than a pool play game, I'll be honest with you.
Shane taking that customary pass on his first one.
Shane scored a big run his last time up. This is the same part of that order that did some damage in the third.
It's going to be a bouncing grounder, short left. Richie coming up on it as Shane runs to third. Richie, he's saying he is out.
Oh.
He had it. Mike's trying to say he did not have that quite up off his body. It looked like it was off of his body to me.
Well, are they conferring?
Yes, Mike said he is out.
He is going to call him out. All right, so we're back to Sanchez now in the 6th spot. Zuccarello comes out. He did his job, though. He made a play over there.
And this time we have the correct name as well.
Yes.
Last time we thought it was Rob.
Sanchez, they call him.
Sanchez.
David
Up with
Sanchez.
Also, Peter pitching. And catching high up off the top of his back, rolling right back over into Ron's mitt. Gonna be rolled off the bat to the catcher again.
Well, sometimes. So Ron Cochran's still in there pitching to David
Peter
Sanchez?
is.
Okay,
Peter is.
that's what I thought. He's just kind of his personal pitcher.
And it's going to be a bouncing grounder over short to left. Richie running for it. It's not at the line. Are they going to keep it? They're saying it's fair, and he's in.
That was too much distance for Richie to have to
It was
cover.
right on the line, but he called it in since it is on the line. Richie not making time. That's going to be a run for the Renegades. 8-5 at the top of the 4th.
That's a good beat ball hit because Richie was the only one with a chance to make that play, and he had to come a long way. And Richie's specialty is balls that are hit at him or close to him, making tough plays. If you make Richie have to run a little bit, he's been playing quite a long time himself. Richie Flores.
And this should have us back up with Christian, I believe.
Christian Thaxton.
Taking a deep exhale as he rotates that bat in his wrists.
So 1 out, 1 in.
going just over the top of the bat. And we do have Rob back in pitching. Ron. Sorry, not Rob. Ron. Christian stepping back off the home plate. And taking a pass on that, listening as it came across.
Unique thing about the Boston Renegades and Beat Baseball is they are all local, Boston bred. You can move away from Boston and still play with the Renegades, but they are all homegrown.
A little bit tight on the inside of the bat. Just dropping down.
Christian no longer lives in the Boston area, but he came up with the Renegades. Rookie of the Year in 2015. He's been a league batting champion before, and he's hit, I think, 5 home runs now in his career.
And just over the top of the bat for a strike.
Look at that swing, though. He's got such a great fundamental swing, and that's because he played some college baseball before his vision became such that he could no longer play, and switched over, and now he's an absolute superstar in beat baseball.
A little bit tight, almost hitting his wrist as it drops down.
That's a foul ball.
It's, I think we're going to, let's see what the call is here.
It's conferring.
Under ASA rules, that's an out. I think if we're following ASA, there's no NBBA rule that says what the hand is, but
Right, so it's, then we revert to ASA.
if the ball is, yeah, yep, if the bat is across the plane of the, the plane of home plate when it, yeah. I said if the bat is across the plane of home plate and the ball under ASA rules and it hits the hand, that's not a hit by pitch. That's a, yep. Yeah. Yeah, I think Mike had it right under ASA rules. There's no NBBA rule that addresses it.
Oh, Christian is a little heated
Well,
over this
and
call.
Mike's not the type of umpire you want to argue with either. He's the Joe West of beat ball. He draws all the big games because, he knows
straight on
what
the
he's
line.
doing, but he's not going to put up with any lip. He'll.
Got teammates trying to pull Christian back away from the plate. Rob wants to see this rule.
Can I see the rule? No, I'm not going to play because if I see it and then you won't let me overturn it, I didn't see it. I went through this before. Can I see the rule, please?
Well, we might have to get the head umpire. Of course, we could pull up the ASA handbook. There's nothing in the NBBA. See, here's the problem that we have. There's nothing in the NBBA rule book that addresses that. We have absolutely no say in the booth. I believe that the ASA rules, but I'm not as much an expert, certainly, as Mike Woodard is, or probably Rob Weissman either. Now,
But we do want to talk about
you want to get it right because it's an important spot in the ball game. There's, obviously that's your leadoff hitter. It's a
and they're going to bring Jason in to confer on this as we bring the heat in off of the field. That way they're not standing out in the heat while this decision is being made.
While we have a moment, why don't we run down all the teams that are participating this year in the NBBA World Series, and we'll start from the lowest seeded team up to the top seeded team. You've got Sirens Beat Ball, which is the first all-female team in the history of the NBBA World Series. That's actually competed, of course, we've got the Wool teams, but that competes in the regulation tournament. You've got the Braille Bandits of West Palm Beach. You've got the Boston Strong, a first-year team. The SGV Panthers from Pasadena, California. The Minnesota Millers. The BCS Outlaws from Bryan, College Station, Texas. The Atlanta Chaos. The Cleveland Scrappers, who we saw earlier today. You've got the Houston Hurricanes, as well as the Oklahoma Lookouts in their second World Series, the Tyler Tigers, Austin Blackhawks, Chicago Comets, New Jersey Lightning, Bayou City Heat, and Boston Renegades, the two teams in this featured game, the BSO Philly Fire, last year's defending world champions, the Indy Edge, the hometown favorite Gateway Archers, and the five-time world champion and top-seeded Indy Thunder. We have teams from coast to coast, literally from Pasadena, California to Boston, Massachusetts. 20 teams here gathered in St. Charles, Missouri, and to recap, we are at 7-5 in the top of the fourth. 8-5.
I have 8-5.
8-5, top of the fourth, one out, and we are getting an official review of a rule interpretation as to whether or not that was a foul ball or a strikeout. The question is, Christian Thaxton swung the bat. Mike Woodard saw the ball hit his hand rather than the bat. The bat had already crossed the plane of home plate. So, I mean, look, in beep ball, it's coach pitch, so you're never going to have a hit by pitch. In softball, the question would have been, is it a hit by pitch, or did the batter cross the plane of the plate? Here, we don't have that issue. The issue is, do we follow the ASA, what we think is the ASA rule, or not?
Also, in this heat, as we're all sitting around, I want to give a big shout out and a thank you not only to our sponsors, but all of our volunteers who are out here spending a day, 2 days, maybe the entire week with us, running food here and there, bringing water to all the teams and all the scorekeepers' tables, the scorekeeper and umps themselves. A big shout out to spotters out in the field for their teams. This game would not be possible with the multitude of volunteers that we have out here who fall in love with this game along with the rest of us. So a big shout out and thank you to all those volunteers. And also not only volunteers, but players. Everybody, please keep drinking and stay hydrated.
So getting back to this rule, because this is interesting. I mean, suppose he swings the bat and it hits him in the arm. Do you still call that a foul ball? So if you're not going to call it, what if he swings and it hits him in his forearm? Clearly, that's not a, so I think Mike had it right, but we'll see what.
There's an official. He had to replace an official, so Cass is gonna have to go switch him out.
So we're having to wait because Jason that they're going to call had to fill in for another official. So we're having to wait before he can get here till he has his place relieved so he can come take care of this.
While we have a moment, I want to give a special shout out, and I know he was watching the game of the day earlier between Chicago and Cleveland. I want to give a special shout out to my former teammate, my former broadcast partner, and a friend for life, Kevin Simpson out of San Antonio, Texas, former pitcher for the Austin Blackhawks, San Antonio Jets, Jim Quinn Award winner, Hall of Famer, anything else you want to, multi-time world champion. So if you're watching out there, either now or on demand later on, Kevin, good to know that you're still tuning in and watching us, and hopefully you're enjoying whatever it is you're doing.
I can't get much better than Kevin right there.
No. As a person, a competitor, an ambassador for Beat Baseball, a family man, just anything you want. I mean, for those of us who were privileged enough to really get to know Kevin personally, you knew that he was just as cool a dude off the field as he was on the field. He's a fiery competitor, but don't let that fool you.
Also, a nice shout out to all our sponsors that helped us have our 250 Beat Baseballs needed for this World Series. We have Cardinals Care and St. Louis Cardinals, Hannigan Realty, and Major League Baseball, who supplied funding for the kids of our league program, our Beat Baseballs, shirts, and many other giveaways for us this week. So a big shout out to them and a thank you, as well as to Bill Jones and Sue Slocum, Richard Mark, all longtime Mind's Eye donors and Ameren, Illinois, for helping us to secure the Slice soccer field complex. Still waiting on that. Oh, he has arrived. He's conferring with Mike behind us. There is discussion going on as both teams take a break out of the sun on their benches.
I am very interested, and I think that our league president, who's also one of our rules gurus, Jerry Wendell, is probably be interested to see how this is. I can't tell you that I have seen this be raised as an issue before. And ordinarily, if there's nothing in our rule book that addresses it, you revert back to the ASA, which seems counterintuitive because when it has to do with a pitch and a swing, it's totally different because, of course, softball is not, ASA softball is not coach pitch. It'd be very interesting to see this call.
So we have the pitchers and captains.
It will make a difference in the game, too, but it's also going to set a precedent here in case that happens again.
Coaches and umpires all conferring
I think
just
it's
to the right of home plate.
I think it's common sense, but I don't blame them for challenging it either because it's not something I think we've dealt with before. Either way, it has created an egregious, though, delay in this ball in what was an excellently played ball game, and now you worry about you got players that are standing around or that are they're trying to stay loose, but now you've created this stoppage in this game over this, and now you wonder
momentum.
now you wonder once they do get back to playing how it's going to affect these teams. This is maybe necessary, but it's also most unfortunate in what has
I
been
think we're getting a final call on this.
certainly the best game that I've seen, or the best start to a game anyway that I've seen all day. This is
Spectacular first day game
putting on
setup.
a great show here for us. But now we've got a little controversy here in the top of the fourth in an 8-5 ball game, Boston leading.
While this is an excellent show, don't let that fool you. This is a very competitive game.
2.
So they are going to maintain that. It's going to bring Tyler up. Mike's standing holds.
All right, so Devonish will be coming up. So it sounded like they did stick with that call. Again, not being an expert, but intuitively, I thought that was what makes sense.
So we're going to have the Heat make their way back out to the field. Hopefully they didn't stiffen up out there. They're going to want to be on top of this, try to stop that momentum from the Boston Renegades, and stay loose and limber and get after these hits. So again, this is Devonish, Sean Devonish up at home plate.
That was Jason Price, our umpire-in-chief, or head umpire, if you will, of the NBBA, who came over to help make that decision. And Rob Weissman clearly didn't like it. He was on the wrong end of the call, but he accepted it, and we're going to move on. And now he's got to fire up his team.
That's the way it's going to be called. It should go in the rule book. Like, it shouldn't be like, we're just going to leave it out of the rule book. Like, it should go in the rule book. And it shouldn't have to go through general assembly.
Now sound out
there is Rob Weissman explaining how he feels about it. And I don't disagree with him there, although when it's not in the rule book, we always defer back to the ASA. We've always done that. So I feel his pain, but that's the right call.
Mike's getting the final clear. The field is ready. Getting a base check to get this back in motion and see if this has changed any of the momentum from the Renegades. Oh, and it's right over the top of the bat. Gonna have to shake that off on the heels of that long break.
Well, let's see if they can keep the same level of play as we had before. Anybody's game still here in the top of the fourth.
And it's going to be a driving grounder as he runs to first. It's midway out there. Grant
Got
has
him.
it. Does he get him out? I couldn't see Mike. He's got a couple people between us. Not sure what the official call on that is. He's out in the field. He's still holding the finger up. Okay, that
They're
is
calling
an out.
him in.
Yep.
That's an out. Yep.
Yep, Mike is telling him to come in.
Wow, so that's the end of the inning. So only one run in there now for Boston as Bayou City's defense stepped up. 8-5, going to the bottom of the fourth.
So that's an 8-5 game. And the Renegades seem like maybe that might have messed up their momentum a little bit. We'll see if they can get back onto the same defense where they were at previously. And you can live the life you want with NFB Sports and Recreation. The National Federation of the Blind Sports and Vision is known that blindness is not the characteristic that defines you or your future. Every day they raise the expectations of blind people because low expectations create obstacles between blind people and our dreams. You can live the life you want, and blindness is not what holds you back. For more information about the NFB Sports and Recreation, email activenfb@gmail.com or visit nfb.org, where you can live the life you want.
Another defense for offense substitution for the Renegades in that sixth spot. Now we'll see Drew Crook in the game and David Sanchez out.
Oh, that is a new spot there. Getting a sound off out in the field on defense. Yeah, he's out right behind Rob Diaz out there in left. And they've moved Shane back further because that's where Drew Cook is now, where Shane was.
Now Fonzie with the ball.
This is going to be Daryl Miner up to bat. Fonzie, the creator of the Fonzie ball that we are using this year here at the World Series.
And Daryl Miner has played for Fonzie his entire career since the early 90s, never for anybody else. This is probably one of the longest pitcher-batter relationships in beat baseball history right here. They've been together 30 years or so.
Fonzie hopping up and down, stretching to touch his toes to stay limber and ready for the pitch. As Daryl brings that bat back up.
Well, it's a false start there. Not that there's any penalty for that. We're a month away from football starting up, and I'm starting to feel it.
It's going to be a hard line drive that drops down right in front of Rob into his elbow. Went past him as he runs to third, and he is safe.
Oh, it got through.
Got through his right under his armpit there as he laid down in front of it. Didn't quite get on. Went up underneath the arm and behind him.
Oh, it's a game of inches. He did everything right except make the stop.
And it really does make you wonder, what did that long break do?
We're about to find out now because it's 8-6, and now you got to deal with Noah Finney.
You can get a pretty good thunk on that ball.
Bang. He was actually the top-rated rookie, according to our unofficial rankings, coming into this tournament. Tyler Myrold was 3, and Grant Simpson was 4.
Oh, little low. Man, that was a heck of a swing. But the ball was just under the outside edge of the bat.
Finney's with one with the power to hit a home run if he really gets a good crank.
Like that line drive right down the center, right past Sean
Not high
Dennis.
enough,
Out
though.
there past Shane. He's running to first, and he kicks it right over. That's going to be another one up for the Heat. Closing that gap. It's an 8-7 game, DB.
That was a rope. You could hear it off the bat.
So am I rolling on that?
I That's the right call.
It was off his hand, so it's a
Yeah.
dead ball strike.
That's right.
Your hands are not extension of the ball, so
Not if the bat crosses.
right.
Yeah.
So it's a dead ball strike.
So we have some
Yep.
reconfiguring out here
Mike's call,
on
not
defense
right
of
call.
moving people around over to the left. Moving Shane up a little bit. And I believe that is Tyler. They've moved from short left over out into right, or from right to left.
That was Jason Price, our head umpire, explaining the prior ruling there on that ball off the hands. A ball off the hands is a dead ball strike, so long as the bat is crossing the plate. So, in other words, there were 3 strikes. If it hits the bat, it's a foul ball. If it hits the hands, that's a dead ball strike. So that's the 4th strike, and that's why the call was made.
This is Lupe Perez up at the plate for the Heat. They're only trailing by 1 here in the bottom of the 4th. And it looks like maybe that little break gave them just what they needed.
And this is danger time here because now you're assured of getting back to the top of the order. Now you've got 5 and 6. You want to try to get Lupe and Alex. Otherwise, this could turn into a big inning for Bayou City.
Just catching the edge off of that as it drops right down to LJ, the catcher. Oh, solid bouncing grounder over to center as he runs for first. They're laying down on it, past his arms again, and it's another run, I'm pretty sure. Again, I have a blockage between me and Mike, but I'm pretty sure that's gonna stand as a run.
Oh, the heat is on now. 3 in a row. We got a tie game. Still nobody out in the bottom of the 4th.
That was Lupe Perez with another run at first. All business over there as he comes back down, tells his team, next batter, move on. Brings us to Alex up at home plate. Getting a little setup there from Fonzie, telling him right there.
Who is going to step up now and make a play for the Renegades when they really need it? Will it be Dias? Will it be Devonish? Will it be McCormick? They've all been good today. Drew Crook has just entered the ball game.
Tyler's been moved back over to right field. And that ball's a little on the outside edge. Looks like they're trying to catch that to get a pop up there. Winding the bat back up. Oh, and just underneath.
You can just feel the tension building on both sidelines here as we're in a tie game.
Very intense. That is going to be a strike.
That's a pitch that Fonzie probably wishes he had back.
Hey, ball, bingo, baby, ball swing.
They don't take pitches. This is another team like Chicago we saw earlier. They don't generally take pass balls.
And that's going to be a strike for an out for Alex. It's going to have Tanner start up over. Hopefully that didn't ruin their momentum. And Renegades digging in there.
Let's go, Tanner. Back him up.
8-8 game. Bottom of the 8th.
I want to take a moment to thank the Delta Gamma Foundation for their grant to the National Beat Baseball Association. We appreciate all of our donors, sponsors, and supporters.
Ooh, Tanner almost knocking himself over there as he swung around. And it's going to be a grounder short left. Rob's coming up on it as he runs.
They Both
to
yelled
third.
stop.
So they had Mike asked them to stop. They looked like they were running a little close to one another. Then he started to swerve away, but the call had already been made.
That's going to be an out then because he was in the field. If he was in the field and that was the reason for the stoppage, then that should be called an out.
Goes 18.
So Dias, the closest player to the play, gets
he
credit for the
gets the
put
out.
out. So that's the first out of the inning. And again, unfortunate, the one thing that stopped Bayou City so far today has been some questionable base runs. That's the second. Oh, is that the second out?
Yeah,
of the
because
inning?
Alex
Alice struck out and then Tanner. Okay, so
Yes.
you got 2 outs in the inning.
And we have Grant up to bat.
So 3 in, 2 outs, tie game. Grant Simpson, the rookie, with a chance to give Bayou City the lead. But again, you've had, 2 errant base runs here for Bayou City, which has cost them. If anything's slowed Boston down, it's been a few strikeouts.
Getting a hit on
On
that
the
as it
ground.
bounces
Late
past
base, if he calls
Fonzie as
it.
he runs to first, but they've got that scooped up.
Yeah, and he's
just
going to get the
like-
late base, though. They're going to bring it back. That was obvious. He called it, and you know what? That's a good move by the rookie. You're not going to get it. Well, the umpire always has discretion, I think, but ordinarily they won't give it to you unless you call it, and some rookies don't know to do that. But he called late base, and he was right. I mean, you could tell just a little bit.
Joe McCormick, who would have had that. But
Boy, that
Grant
would have been-
comes back to the plate.
Sometimes now it feels like all of the breaks go against you because now that would have been the 3rd out of the inning. They've just got to do it again now on that. That was a ground ball.
Rolling back up over the bat, past LJ. Hitting a piece of that as it goes foul on the right.
Now he's at 3 strikes with contact every time here. Just needs to put it in play, but down to his last strike here. 2 outs, bottom of the 4th, tied at 8.
Tipping his head back and forth as he. And it's going to roll back right up to LJ again.
Got a piece of it.
His green batting gloves. Back up to the plate with the bat in his hand.
Boy, he's going to be a star if he stays with this game for years to come. Swing.
Oh, and just missing that. That is going to be out.
And that's tough. Oh, there was contact all through that at bat, and it was all foul, and then a clean swing and miss at the end. So after 3 straight to start the inning, 3 outs after that, and we are tied at 8 going to the 5th. We got a 2-inning game basically on our hands now.
What a game. And the Blind Cafe, not just another dinner in the dark. We create award-winning community building, positive social impact, professional development experiences held in 100% darkness. No blindfolds for both public and private corporate audiences worldwide. Enlighten your perspective with a meal, community conversation, and a concert in complete darkness. To book your own Blind Cafe experience, visit theblindcafe.com. Again, they are not just another dinner in the dark.
And we appreciate everybody who is tuned in on our live stream on YouTube, on the NBBA page, on our social media from around the country, and in fact, around the world. We've had some folks from Taiwan that have been tuning in to watch this today, and also, I understand, South Africa as well. And if you've just tuned into this one, we've got a good one going. 8-8 going to the top of the 5th. Boston coming up. It will be 3, 4, and 5 in the Renegades orders. So the rookie sensation Tyler Myrolt, and then you got Joe McCormick and Shane Canton as the Renegades look to regain the lead here.
They are going to start off here with Tyler. I believe that's Tyler.
We've had a little bit of everything in this game. A lot of offense, a lot of defense, a lot of close calls. This has been a tough game
Even
to
some
officiate.
contented calls.
What?
up to bat for the Renegades. With Ron pitching, Rob catching. And just catching a touch of that. Just underneath the swing. Getting a piece of that as it sails foul to the right on the outside of first base.
He was a little bit late getting around on it. He'll come back.
He's already at home plate.
Try to
Now,
get the Renegades started here in the 5th. It's been back and forth all day between these two.
this is the most exciting first day game I think I've ever covered.
Yeah, you never know what you're going to get on the first day. A lot of the games aren't quite as competitive, but this one certainly has been.
Oh, just above the bat. It's going to be out for Tyler. Joe McCormick up to bat for the Renegades. Again, still tied 8-8, top of the 5th.
They need a spark. I just feel like the Renegades need something to turn the momentum around here, and it might be Joe McCormick. He's been one of their cornerstones for the last decade or so.
Joe sitting back, kneeling in front of his stool. And a pop up into center midway as he runs to third, bouncing around to the back. Grant trying to grab it. Noah coming in. It's going to be a run. There's that spark.
And that was a legit hit, too. He just dropped it right in the center of their defense and had plenty of speed to get down there. Good hit for McCormick. Boston back on top 9-8, and they really needed that.
He's going to bring Shane up for the Renegades. It is black bucket cap and a change of pitchers as well. We'll have Peter coming up to pitch for Shane. And also for behind him, I believe that's Joe Yee. They have a spotter just finishing moving defense around, pulling Tanner Gears back just a hair and over. Waiting for this first and third. And Shane again taking that first pitch as a pass. Pop up into center and then going to the right as he runs for third. Tanner coming up on it, but he's going to be safe. Not in time. 2-run lead now for the Renegades.
They've found something. They've gotten the balls in the air too straight, and they've got them into the midst of that defense. So that's exactly what they needed out of the 4-5 spot. That guarantees that Christian's going to bat in this inning no matter what happens. And now it looks like they have gone back to Joe Yee.
It is Joe Yee up at the plate, and that could be that spark that gets them all back into some momentum.
10-8, still only one out.
And it's going to be foul to the right. It's a nice hit, but it was on the ground. And foul, of course.
Bayou City finished second to the Gateway Archers in the Oklahoma tournament in April. Then went and finished and won the Texas tournament in May. Finished 5th in the Indy tournament, first weekend of June.
I'm going to hold for that airplane going overhead. Our breeze is almost non-existent again. Here at the Slice of Soccer Complex. We will be back here again next year. St. Louis. Gateway to the West.
And maybe gateway to the future. This is a baseball crazy town. They love beat baseball in this town. This crowd for opening ceremonies yesterday was as large as any crowd I have seen for opening ceremonies in my career.
It's going to be a grounder into center as he runs for third. A short Richie trying to get in front of it, and he's got it. Bayou trying to hold on and slow down.
Gateway just beat Austin 8-5.
We have a final from bracket B. The Gateway Archers 8, the Austin Blackhawks 5. Sounds like some good defense played there. So Gateway goes 3-0, but they sound like they got tested in that one. Austin 2-1.
That update courtesy of Jerry
Wendell, our league president. So Gateway will have the number 2 seed, regardless of what happens in any other game, and Austin will have the 9 seed going into tomorrow.
starting back up with Christian.
And if there are any other updates, by all means.
A little tight on the inside, and it's going to be foul on the left. It's just above his hands up on the bat.
Boy, the Blackhawks sound like they're playing some really good defense today. They shut out the Houston Hurricanes in their first game. Not sure what they did in the second one, but now to hold Gateway to 8 runs with that offense, good for the Blackhawks. I know that they weren't happy about finishing out of the top 10 last year for the first time probably ever in their team history.
Christian bat up back over the shoulder. And the ball just over the top of the bat. Christian, the one who had that contended call last inning.
You know he'd like to make up for it too, and he can with one swing.
Leading
Not that that
bat.
was his fault. He swung the bat. It just was an inside pitch on his hand. There was nothing he could do about it.
And a pop-up, short right over by Tanner as
This
he
is
runs
gonna be a
to
tough
first. Tanner
play.
sliding over for that. And he is out. Tanner down.
Another bang bang
Doing
play.
a dance out there back and forth as he holds the ball, rock and rolling Tanner.
All-Star puts out All-Star on another bang bang play.
2.
And that will end the inning.
No, that was
No,
two.
that's two.
That's two.
Hold on.
Is
It
that
is
it?
2.
That should.
No, it's Tyler.
Well, Tyler was on.
Tyler was
the
the first.
It is 3.
It is 3.
Rob, just chill. I figured it out. I caught it.
I'm not chill. I'm on no IT.
I'm about to say, I was like, I'm catching up with me.
So we do have the Heat coming in.
Yeah.
That was 3.
Yes.
So it's going to head us down to the bottom of the 5th with the Heat coming in to bat, only trailing by 2.
Moralt, Yee, and Thaxton made the outs. McCormick and Canton scored. So it's 10-8 going to the bottom of the 5th, and nothing has been easy for the officials in this game today.
Would you like to experience a community building and positive social impact event? Blind Cafe, not just another dinner in the dark. Enlighten your perspective with a meal and community conversation and a concert in complete darkness. They create award-winning community building and positive social impact experiences. To book your own Blind Cafe experience, visit theblindcafe.com.
So as we go to the bottom of the 5th and Bayou City comes up, chasing 2, they will have, let's see, where are we at in their batting order?
We are at
Three,
Daryl
Daryl
Minor.
Minor, 3, 4, and 5. Minor, Finney, and Lupe Perez, the scheduled hitters.
Repeat. And they got 3 that time. Mike said we're ready to play. Daryl winding up. Turning a little more towards Fonzie. Calling time for that airplane.
Yep, as that's playing, we haven't had as much, I will say, we haven't had as much plane stoppages here
As
in
this
this
morning.
game as we did this morning. On what kind of flight pattern
It was
we were in
almost
the
one
middle of.
every
Yeah.
pitch, it seemed like. Fonzie taking a knee and grabbing a handful of loose grass there.
There will be 8 a.m. games tomorrow. They will be the tail of the double elimination. In other words, 13 through 20 will play one another to fill out the 16-team bracket. And then you will get the octafinals, if you will, at 11 a.m. That's my word for the week, octafinals. It's before the quarterfinals.
Almost took off Fonzie's head as it goes for a line drive down center. He runs to first. They're scrambling to get it. Went past Sean. He's kicked the base. Up, they're calling dead ball. Mike's going to go out and check.
That would be the first dead ball of the game if it is called a dead
Gone
ball.
through some awful hard hits, DB.
It has, boy.
That very first one by Tanner, I'm shocked it made it through that one.
Well, the longer the balls last, the more we'll have left after the World Series to get a start on next year's World Series, which, as you said, will be right back here in St. Charles, Missouri. Thanks to Mind's Eye Radio, St. Louis Lighthouse, Cardinals Care, and the St. Louis Cardinals, Hannigan Team Realty. Andy Hannigan is a big Beat baseball fan. He's been out here all day, running around in a golf cart and doing other things. He's rounding up volunteers. Spent like the last 3 weeks doing that. And of course, he's a Gateway Archer fan, but
We
they
won't
are the
hold that
home
against
favorite.
him.
No, we will not.
We'll take any volunteer and donor and sponsor. Got a new ball back in. Evidently strong and loud. Hear Mike heckling Fonzie out there since it is his ball.
And to find out more about our organization and how you can donate, the teams of our league, our World Series, and anything else you want to know about Beat Baseball, go to www.nbba.org.
We're
Here
going
we
to
go.
have Noah up at the plate as he winds his bat up. Oh, just catching the edge of that. Almost getting out of it. LJ might have hurt his finger there, grabbing that as it spun back around.
So apparently that was not a dead ball? Or what? Hey, what did Daryl Minor do? Okay,
So it did count.
yeah, he called dead ball, but it wasn't dead. So it's 9-8.
that
That
run.
gave him the
So
lead
now-
back.
9-10.
I'm sorry, 9-10. Cut the lead to 1.
And just underneath the bat. Okay.
So again, 10-9 Boston. Bottom of the 5th. These are tense moments.
Heat's going to want to get as far ahead as they can, or even just close the gap. Only trailing by 1, but a lot can happen in 1 inning.
As we've seen here today.
And it's going to be another pop-up hard and deep out until center left. He's running to third. They're scrambling after it. He is safe. He plows into third base, taking it out. And there went that tie run. Oh, we're going to check and see if it's a homer.
unless it was an obvious one, they probably won't call it, but
Oh, they're saying no.
No.
They're saying about 7 to 8 inches shy.
yeah. There was a couple of close calls earlier today. I know Eric Rodriguez of the Edge had a real close call. They didn't give him his. They did give Caleb Wright, his teammate, his, but they almost had two.
Along with that home run, he also gets that delicious dinner from Tucanos Mexican or Brazilian Grill. I'm sorry about that.
And you know what? And he, Caleb, of course, plays for the Edge, but he's local here to St. Louis. He's involved with the Missouri School for the Blind.
So he will make good use of that dinner.
I'm sure he will, and he's a big strapping lad too. So
He's gonna have us.
gonna
with
like that
Lupe.
prize. They used to give him a game ball for that. Now they give him a dinner. I think he'd probably take the dinner. He can't eat the ball.
Waiting for that plane overhead. Lupe standing at ease. Kind of shuffling back and forth, knee to knee. Still waiting.
How about our Slice of Soccer Complex field sponsors, Bill Jones and Sue Slocum and Richard Mark, longtime donors from Mind's Eye and Amron, Illinois, local to the area as our utility company. Power.
Lupe ready. And just above the bat on the outer edge. Looking for a little airtime there.
Lupe, no stranger to big moments in big games, and he's in one here in a tie ball game in the bottom of the fifth. Nobody out.
And it's going to be a fly over to left as he runs to first. They're scrambling, but he plows into first.
And that was smoked. That's the third straight one. As Fonzie turning up the heat on the Renegade defense now. That gives the Heat an 11-10 lead in the bottom of the fifth now. Still nobody out.
Gonna have Alex up at the plate, and you know the Heat can't stay comfy, but they've got to feel good about this.
Well, last time Boston needed somebody to stand tall in defense, it was Devonish and Joe McCormick. They need it again now here. They could use an out in the worst way because on deck now you've got Tanner Gears. So here you go with the sixth spot in the lineup. This is the time to get an out right here. 3 in a row in to start the inning for Bayou City. They can score in bunches.
Getting a bat check here. He's wanting, Alex wants Lupe's bat. Trading out there. He's going to give up the one he has.
I want Lupe's bat. It doesn't mean I can have it, but who wouldn't want his bat? Here we go.
First and third. And a little early, just over the top. Oh, just underneath it.
You got this, Alex.
He's got to split that difference and get that ball. Over his bat and under. Let's see if he can. Taking a pass.
Looking ahead to the Renegades sixth, there'll be 2, 3, and 4 scheduled up in the lineup. That's Devonish, Myralt, and McCormick, the heart of their order. They need some outs here.
It's going to be a hard line drive over into far deep left as he runs to first. They're scrambling for it. And that's another run for the Heat. They are starting to put some power behind those hits and put it in the dangerous area.
4 in a row to start the inning, and that was the 3, 4, 5, and 6 spots in the order. Bayou City really putting the hammer down now, and they have the hammer as the home team. Now you got to deal with Tanner Gears.
12-10 game, bottom of the 5th. They've got a little bit of a momentum going.
You confused me. Yeah, I was like, I'm like, hey, you have to put a party on my second page. My second page. Wait, so funny. My first time. I'm a newbie. I'm a rookie to this.
We have a huddle out there from the Renegades out in the outfield.
Defensive timeout called by Rob Wiseman. It was a good time for it, too.
We have a shout out.
He wanted to, because he got an internship.
LJ, our catcher for the Heat,
Wants to give a shout out to the Montgomery County Crime Lab. He's an intern there.
as a Montgomery County Crime Lab, as he just has gotten an internship there. That is our catcher for the Heat, LJ Rodriguez.
Montgomery County, Texas. That's in the suburbs of Houston. That's like the Woodlands and some of those areas over there.
Ballistic Forensics.
All right. Hey, but we can't do that unless there's someone. All right.
So it looks like our outfield is now reset.
All right. So back to action.
Tanner is at the plate and ready. Oh, and a slamming a pop-up fly over into deep left again as he runs and takes out third, easily safe. Just starting to make a train. He's dancing again out at third base for offense this time instead of his dance on defense. A hug there with Fonzie as he comes back in.
Tanner Gears has been the spark for the Bayou City Heat when they've needed it. From the very first swing of the bat, when he started the game off to a run, to the big put out of Christian Thaxton, and now that run there. Tanner Gears is being what he is, the table setter for this team. And they're in a whole lot of trouble now.
When we talk about how we're putting on a show out here, Tanner is definitely putting on a show out there.
Yeah.
This is going to have Grant back up to the plate. Number 1, Grant Simpson for the Heat. Mike checking to make sure that the defense is set out in the field. They're not quite as rocking as much as they were out there earlier. And it's hard to say if it's just from the long day or if it's from a little bit of frustration. Grant back up and ready. Fonzie wiping off his hand in the grass. And, oh, it took out, it bounced and hit Fonzie.
First one of the game. He's managed to avoid all the others, but finally he gets one.
He's jumped out of the way a couple times, but that one got him right in the hammer.
And that is a no pitch. If it hits the pitcher, that's a redo. It's not a new count, it's just a new pitch.
Outfield is ready. Mike's calling. Noah asking how many outs there were.
That's my job. Come on now. Take it over my job, dude. I'm not going to do your job. Nope. Not happening.
I have faith in you. Back up at the bat over the shoulder. And just tipping off, rolling back to the catcher.
They're battling again. Now, last time they had an at-bat like this, he struck out. See what happens here.
And a line drive over into mid-right as he runs to first. They're scrambling. He almost missed. He jumped at the base and just caught it as he slid past it. It was in the air like Superman.
Boy, he made a last-minute recovery, it sounds like, then, because that's tough to do when all you're doing is hearing it and you're not seeing it.
He thought he was tackling it and had to stretch his arm out a little bit farther to catch it as he went by.
It appears to be. So they've gone through their entire 6 in their batting order with all runs, 6 in a row in here. And they're pulling away now. It's 14-10, still nobody out.
Bottom of the 5th, Daryl Minor.
Remember, this was an 8-6 game when with Boston in the lead when the stoppage happened, as I recall, for the rule clarification.
Dell cranking that bat back up over the shoulder with a couple swings ahead of time. Oh, just catching the edge of it. That was a hard swing. It was whistling. And just underneath the bat.
And they've been going to all different parts of the field, too, during this rally. Fonzie doing a good job using the entire field, testing this defense.
It's going to be a grounder out into short to mid-left, bouncing off of Rob as Daryl runs to third. And he's going to be out, though. He recovered it. That's going to give them the out that they needed.
They needed that, and that's why second effort is important. Never give up on a ball. 1 down.
There's still a 4-run lead, though. They're going to have to do that as a wash, rinse, repeat.
Yeah, because it's still doable right now, but you certainly don't want to fall any farther behind, which is 3 outs to work with.
We'll have Noah Fenny up at bat. Base check at first and third. Noah hoping to get a little further than his last one. Holy cow, you could see Fonzie anticipating that as he jumped out of the way, but it was a strike.
If I was 20 feet away pitching to Noah Finney, I'd jump out of the way too, anticipating.
Going to be another strike. Deep exhale by Noah as he pulls that bat back up over the shoulder. Just underneath for the 3rd strike.
6-run inning so far for the Heat. Biggest inning of the game for either team.
We were impressed with those 4 runs the Renegades did in the 3rd, but
they're going to
this
need
is
at least
taking
that
this
many
over.
as it stands now, and we still have a couple more outs needed
and
here.
making a solid connection, but I don't know if that's going to be foul. Not quite past that line. He almost ran the wrong direction. He took 2 steps towards third, re-corrected towards first, which would have cost him if that had been fair.
We got a result. Thunder ahead of Tyler, but I didn't get a score. And that was old. That was about 20 minutes old.
Oh, and that is going to be a strike. Not repeating his last at-bat. Another out for the Heat.
All right, so back-to-back outs now, and 1 out away now from Boston getting out of this.
We have Lupe coming up to the bat.
Lupe was one of the runs that started this inning. One of those 6 straight.
I feel like this 5th inning has been the longest inning yet. Feels like it's going on and on. Will they keep it going longer? Lupe shaking his head a little as he tries to shake off a little whatever might be going on. Trying to focus. Oh, nope. Is something going on under? He's pulling his mask so he can wipe the sweat out of his eyes. Gonna get reset back up at home plate. Looked like something was irritating him a little.
Yeah, sometimes you can get, I don't know, a gnat, dust, anything that if it gets under that blindfold, it can really bother you. Sometimes if you only have light perception and there's a little bit of light coming in the corner, that can really bug you too. I know I used to hate that.
It's going to be a short little pop-up. Don't think that's going to stay fair. Coming right back to the catcher, but Rob was almost all the way up to the fair line by then. Lupe slowly making his way back to home plate. $14-10 Heat.
Yeah,
Bottom
this
of the fifth.
This inning started 10-8 Boston. The Heat have turned it around with 6.
Just a little bit early.
It's been punch, counter punch by these two heavyweights, and right now it's the Heat with the Renegades on the ropes.
And a slamming grounder over to left. Rob slowed it down, trying to get a hold of it. He's got him out. That's going to be the out. Bringing the Renegades back in to slow that down. 3 outs in a row.
So Dias, who had 10 putouts in the game against BCS earlier today, comes up with a big one there. And that'll end the 5th, heading to the top of the 6th. 3 outs to work with for the Renegades, chasing 4.
We're going to start the top of the 6th. Mind's Eye Radio. The nonprofit Mind's Eye strives to build a more inclusive community by translating vision into audio for individuals who are blind or have low vision. The broadcast information program provides listeners access to long-form journalism and local news. The audio description program enables every person who attends a theater production or museum exhibit the chance to enjoy a rewarding experience. The adaptive athletics program raises awareness and provides educational and competitive opportunities for athletes who are blind or partially sighted. For more information, visit mindseyeradio.org.
Mind's Eye became involved with beep baseball in the year 2020, really during the pandemic, and got the 8 Gateway Archers going, and here we are now 4 years later, and look what they've done. We've got a World Series here now for 2 years, and they are one of the presenting sponsors along with their partners, the St. Louis Lighthouse. So it didn't take Mind's Eye long to become a force in beep baseball, and of course they built the Gateway Archers up. We saw them for the first time in a World Series substitute tournament in 2020. The World Series got canceled that year due to COVID. They made a trip to Indianapolis, and they didn't win a game out there their first tournament, but you could just tell there was something on the horizon because they looked organized. And now they're the number 2 seed, and they're hosting the tournament, and they've got a puncher's chance to win it all this year.
And what a World Series it has been so far.
So far.
Sean Devenish up at bat for the Renegades.
And they're going to...
And a little bit on the inside, dropping straight down. But he was still going to make a run for that. You never want to guess and make that call on your own. Always err on the side of running the base.
Devenish has probably been the MVP for the Renegades in this game. If you consider both sides of the ball, he's made some terrific plays, and he scored a couple of runs.
Incredible defensive plays.
They could use one from him here to start the 6th. 14-10 Heat.
And it's going to be a pop-up, short left. And he's running to first. Richie's got to come up and get it, and he's already hit the base. That is a run for Sean Devenish.
It seemed like it was upped a couple of times on Red. Richie was trying to maybe judge where it was going to end up coming to rest. And by that time, the speedy Devonish, who for his size, he can move. And it's 14-11, still nobody out. Don't count the Renegades out yet.
Tyler up to bat.
This is the part of their lineup that's been hot.
Hot, hot, hot.
Devonish, Tyra Milroll, and McCormick, and then of course Shane Canton as well.
Tanner out there rocking back and forth, ready for a little on the inside and low under the bat. And it's going to be foul on the right. Tyler re-gripping that bat. And exhale and back up over the shoulder. And little on the inside and under again.
All right, important pitch coming up here with 3 strikes. 1 run in, nobody out, top of the 6th, 3-run game.
And it's going to be a grounder just barely inside fair on the right. Tanner sliding on the grass to grab that before Tyler hit first. Literally sliding like a slip and slide over in front of that ball and snagging it up for the out.
Tanner Gears, you know, when he found out we were doing this game as the game of the day, he said, I love putting on a show, and he's doing just that. Gears playing like a man possessed on both sides of the ball. 1 out.
Dancing and sliding all over the place. 2 thumbs up to the ump. Tanner just gave 2 thumbs up to Mike.
Well, it wasn't really a close play, though. He made that play
He
pretty
slid
easily.
over easily right on top of that.
Now they need a big one here from Joe McCormick.
Joe McCormick up. And it's going to be a pop-up short into right. Tanner's going to have to come up as he's running to third. Tanner trying to get a hold of it and not getting it
that
in time.
Good effort, but McCormick a little more speed there, and that'll make it 14-12. Still only 1 out. Shane Canton to the plate.
Change in pitchers as well. And Tanner he had that at his hands, but he was kind of just trying to grip it with his fingers and not getting it actually lifted in time. So that is going to be a run for the Renegades.
The ball must be off the ground, under control, and away from the body to be considered a putout in this sport. If any of those elements are missing, it will be counted a run. Getting your hands on it is one thing. Making sure it's up off the grass tops is another.
So this is Shane in his black bucket hat with pitcher Peter. Shane's wearing mismatched gloves, 1 red and white, 1 black and green. Taking a pass on that first pitch that he's shown pretty much to do the entire game.
And not only can he make this a 1-run game with a run, but he can get Thaxton a guaranteed at-bat.
Just over the top of that. Oh, just under the bat.
If one of these 2 can score, either Canton or whoever ends up in the 6th spot there, then Thaxton would represent the potential tying run.
And rolling back up. Rob just barely catching that from coming back to the scorekeeper's table. Just getting a touch of that as it drops straight down.
This brings back memories of last year in Norman where we called 4 games that literally came down to the final at-bat. This has been one of those type of games here this afternoon. We're getting going early. We didn't see that last year in the first day.
Just over the top of the
and
bat
a big
for a
strikeout.
strike.
Oh. Mm.
Heat does have that last bat advantage if they get to that.
And you're going to have to tell me who's in this spot
This
now, because
is
I've
David
lost track.
Sanchez
All right.
currently back again.
They call him Sanchez, and now they need a run from him to extend this game. 14-12 Heat, 2 outs, top of the 6th, last chance for the Renegades.
And it's going to be a grounder far and deep into left as he runs to first. Richie going over there. Oh! That is going to be out.
Richie Flores, I believe, Rosita.
Yep, Richie Flores.
And that's your ball game. A good one here. The best game of the tournament so far. Final score, Bayou City Heat in a come-from-behind effort, 14, Boston Renegades 12. How about that game, Rosina?
What a game. And thank you to Mind's Eye Radio, who strives to build a more inclusive community by translating vision into audio for individuals who are blind or have low vision. The broadcast information program provides listeners access to long-form journalism and local news. The audio description program enables every person who attends a theater production or museum exhibit a chance to enjoy a rewarding experience, and the adaptive athletics program raises awareness and provides educational and competitive opportunities for athletes who are blind or partially sighted. For more information, please visit mindseyeradio.org as we finish up our final game for today.
Well, I'll tell you what, my Hannigan Team Realty Player of the Game will be Tanner Gears. I think it's obvious for the Heat, with an honorable mention from the Renegades in a losing effort. I'll go with Sean Devonish. Thank you to Hannigan Team Realty and all our sponsors. We will be back tomorrow with double elimination action at 11 a.m. Check back to find out what the game will be. We will have games of the day tomorrow and the rest of the week. Thanks for listening and watching.
We do have them finishing up their congratulatory team. 2 wonderful teams. Great plays by both